The Boys has officially come to an end. So we will go into what happened in the finale before delving into your thoughts. Let's start with the positives. The performances for everyone were phenomenal. Most of the deaths felt earned based on what we've seen. The only ones I wouldn't say were his "Oh Father" and Terror. I'll go into why I think this briefly. We knew that the sea life no longer liked the deep. After the oil incident earlier in the season, and a final showdown between Starlight and the deep felt inevitable. Also, even towards the end, there wasn't any accountability from him for his actions. Now for Homelander, his arc this season has been him wanting to be a god and be immortal. That him losing his powers and him becoming just a regular person was so fitting. And in an earlier season, he was saying how much better he was. And he then became the thing he claimed he was better than. He was also fixated on people believing in him rather than fearing him. Ultimately, he spent his last moments fearing for his life before it was taken. Finally, Butcher, his whole purpose was to take Homelander down. Then he wanted to start over with Ryan and Terror, but that ultimately didn't happen. So he had nothing. His purpose was gone. So he went back to getting rid of Soups, but he had lost himself at that point. Then the only thing stopping him was killing him. After he lost Terror, he wanted to die. He had all the time in the world to pull the trigger and release the virus. But he wanted to be stopped, and he wanted to die in that moment. I liked the endings for the characters. Reuniting with his family and helping Ryan as his own. For me, Mother's Milk has been one of my favorite characters this season. Huey and Annie becoming parents was nice to see, and them having a business together. But Starlight also using his powers to help people. Kimiko went on her own and now has a dog. A peaceful ending to a character that has had so much chaos. Finally, I enjoyed the action sequences. The negatives now. How the characters from Gen V were used. They were pointless. We've seen what they can do in 2 seasons of a spin-off, and they are just used to take people to Canada. Such a waste. No Soldier Boy involvement. I understand he was frozen again. But with the amount of time we've seen him in the final season, just for him not to appear in the last episode is underwhelming, and the time focused on him and setting up. The prequel show Vought Rising. They should have focused on the show they are in the middle of. Those are the thoughts I had on the episode. So I will now get into your guys' thoughts. Clip Wrestling is our first comment, who says, "Loved it. One of the perfect season finales in my memory. Lived up to its hype. Going to miss them all." I agree. Even though I've enjoyed this season, a lot of people haven't, which I do understand. But I think they stick the landing. We may see some of these characters pop up in the future spin-off, The Boys Mexico, which would be cool. Nil is up now. This episode specifically is not the issue, but the entirety of the 5th season is. Contrary to popular belief, the Deep's death was the best death, in my opinion. As I said earlier, it's understandable why people are somewhat frustrated with this season. And I think Deep's death was great. I don't know if I would put it first out of the deaths we saw, but I liked it. Verse and Emmanuel is up now. Just disappointed. You show a character which is more terrifying and strongest, and then make him a piece of joke at finale. The same was planned in Harrigasm scene in S3. If he had managed Butcher, Temp V, Huey, Temp V, and the man himself Soldier Boy, how could he stumble this time? To Kimiko, Butcher, and Ryan. What was the use of Gen V, Wasted Marie? And those posters, what was the use of those posters? They just made this series a complete mess. 6 out of 10. These are all valid critiques towards the episode. They wrote themselves into a corner by writing Soldier Boy out of the show in the last episode. Gen V were completely wasted. With their show being canceled and them only being in briefly was a poor choice. They were seriously wasted, and we probably won't see them again. The posters were misleading for sure. Homelander in space with multiple areas seemingly burning. It made people think that the final battle would be on a more global scale rather than just in the Oval Office. Carlos Estrada is up now. He says the right people died, which I agree with. Next up is Matthew, who says,
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
But on a serious note, I really liked the finale. The character's arc ended the way I imagined, and then some. I agree with this. I was satisfied with almost all of the endings we got for the characters. I was up now. I love this, but I just was confused about Sister Sage's ending and Soldier Boy's and Queen Maven stuff still. Queen Maeve was originally supposed to be in this last season in some capacity, but for one reason or another, she wasn't able to film. Nick gives us his thoughts now. Love the episode. Best episode of the season for sure. The first episode comes in second. The payoffs were pretty well done for the show. The fight scenes were actually great, and seeing Homelander die was insane. Loved Butcher's ending the most, his best writing in a while, I think. Glad Huey and the gang got a happy ending too, cause I really thought the boys would have been done for. Only gripes I'd have is how they handled Frenchie's funeral in the beginning. I get the show wants to be humorous and everything. It was alright, but I think it would have worked better a little more serious. Especially with the payoff in the end, where Ghost Frenchie talks to Kimiko. Overall, this season's dialogue has been a little much in the vulgar department, and yeah, I get the show is edgy and whatever, but it felt kind of forced at times. This episode was not innocent. Overall thoughts: great episode, very happy how they wrapped it up. Those are also valid points. I think there was one or two more asshole jokes in the funeral than I would have liked, and it did seem like there were more jokes on the vulgar side this season. Those were great points made there by Nick. Bud gets his next. They say it was good, but we didn't see these. Referencing the posters on screen here, which I agree with. The posters were misleading for this season, which is disappointing. Darth Wade is up now. That finale was fucking diabolical. When I say I mean I really liked it. It could have been better, but it was far better than that other show's finale. You know what show I'm talking about. But overall, it was a great finale to an amazing show. I agree. Even though quite a few weren't massive fans of this season. I enjoyed it. Uncle Daddy is our next comment. It was a calm ending, but they should have stuck with the scorched off to give it a high ending. I agree. Especially with the posters they released ahead of time, teasing it. So I understand that. Hottie's comment is next. It felt small, like really small for a show like The Boys and a character like Homelander. I enjoyed the finale and was left satisfied overall, but I was definitely expecting something bigger like Scorched Earth. Like Homelander completely losing it and going on a full destruction path, maybe even involving space, cause that's what they were teasing/promising. Turns out it was kinda misleading. The whole fight sequence was really short and ended way too quickly. I wanted more. Also, the VFX sucked. They barely did anything the entire season, so where did the budget even go? I liked how they ended Homelander. The build-up to his death was good, and even the outcome itself worked for me, but the way they handled some of it was really disappointing. The power scaling is very inconsistent. Talking about the character endings though, I'm satisfied with almost every single one, especially Huey, and SL. That's where this finale really wins. And that final scene in Vought Tower? The cinematography was so good. We all knew Butcher was gonna die because there was really no reason left for him to live. His only motive was always to take down Homelander, and he did that for Becca. Now he's gone, his arc is complete. And I'm glad Huey was the one who did it. That whole scene made it feel like Butcher actually wanted Huey to kill him. I don't think his intention was ever to release the virus. At least, that's how I understood it. Overall, I'm happy with the way things ended, but I still wanted more. And honestly, one reason I might have liked this finale so much is because they dropped it after a lineup of weak episodes. After watching mediocre episodes continuously, anything above average starts feeling amazing. I agree. If he truly wanted to release the virus, he could have done it. I know he mentioned that waiting for people to arrive there in the morning, but I don't think he was going to do it. After losing Terror and Ryan wanting to go his separate way from him, he had nothing left to live for. I also agree with the power scaling. We see Homelander take someone up to space and return within a couple seconds, but isn't able to escape Butcher, Kimiko, and eventually Ryan. Simja Jackson is up now. Apologies for the pronunciation error if there is one. Ball gag MVP of the season. Knew exactly what that holy roller was packing. Huey finally snapping and going full Butcher mode is chef's kiss chaos. This finale is unhinged in the best way. I agree. With the points there, great finale. Abdulrahman is up now. Once again, if the pronunciation was incorrect, I apologize. It was good. I wish we could have seen them as a group as friends, but felt like everyone moved on after the goal was achieved. Loved Butcher's realization at the end, felt like he became his own father. I agree. I think it would have been nice. But I'm glad they went their separate ways. Because while they were together for the cause, they each had their own ending to go on. Maynam's Dre is up, who enjoyed it. I think it was a great ending. The fight scenes were amazing, and I feel as if everyone got their ending. Sucks that both the main characters did die, as I only thought one was gonna die, but it was an emotional roller coaster. Was kinda scared it was gonna be an ending like Dexter. For those who don't know about the ending of Dexter, It is wildly regarded as one of the worst endings to a TV show ever. And I'm glad the boys didn't end up that way. More Nova is up now. A decent ending good enough, even if some storylines still felt unresolved. I do agree that some stories didn't conclude. Gen V and Soldier Boy being the main two. Cole is the penultimate comment we got. I feel it closed up Homelander's story, but with Soldier Boy's arc and the new shows, I'm sure we will pick up after this some point in the future, but without the boys' characters. I think we will see a season or two of Soldier Boy in the prequel timeline before being unfrozen in the present day, where Soldier Boy finds out the events that happened while he was in the chamber. Heinz Wrestling is our last comment. Butcher's ending was perfect, him going crazy because he realized that he had nothing left. Agreed. He reverted back to his old ways by wanting to get rid of all soups. Although I don't think he was ever truly going to stop until he was killed. Those are all the comments we received. I want to thank you all for watching. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hopefully you all have a great rest of your day or night, and stay safe everyone. Much love to you all.